The Citizens Committee on the Future of Phoenix Transportation launches a community campaign for a citywide transportation plan. Let's now join the news conference with Phil Pangrazio, President and CEO of Arizona Bridge to Independent Living.
You know, those of us that have disabilities, we're real excited about, moving transportation forward in Phoenix and continuing our tradition of being a great city and making it even greater through, continued improvements to our public transportation system. So, but with that, I am going to call on our good mayor to come up here and welcome everybody. And so with that, I will welcome Mayor Stanton.
Good morning, everyone. Phil, you were my first choice. What are you talking about, Forrest choice? Who else but Phil Pangrazio, who is a passionate supporter for public transportation and a great transit system here in the city of Phoenix. And you're right, transit is incredibly important for people with disabilities. It's incredibly important for students. It's incredibly important for working families. It's incredibly important for everyone in this city. Even if you don't use transportation, you want a city to have a great public transportation system, because guess what? The economy is improving. This city is growing again. There's going to be more and more congestion unless we work hard to get ahead of the curve. Things are going to slow down in the city. We don't want that to happen. That's why it's incredibly important that we put together this committee, this Citizens Committee of Transportation Needs, leaders from all parts of our community, all walks of life, to give the best recommendations so that we can advance transportation, buses, street improvements here in our city of Phoenix. So that's exactly what we're doing. Guess what? We passed transit in 2000, the Transit 2000 initiative, when Mayor Rimza was mayor. That was a 20-year initiative. Time is ticking away. It won't be too many years before we're going to lose that funding source. We can't go backwards on transportation. As a great city, we can only go forwards on transportation. Phil, I know that. I grew up here in this city. I grew up in West Phoenix. My dad worked at JCPenney, at Park Central Mall, and later at Christown. He took that city bus every day to and from work. I know how important a great public transportation system is for families all across this community. So for me, supporting transit is in my DNA. But I think everyone here agrees, and I think this community knows, that you can't be a great city unless you are a great multimodal transportation city. So today, we begin to pave the way for the future of Phoenix transportation. Back in 2000, our city undertook the same task with imagination and dedication to build a better and more robust transportation city. Without the dedication of people who believed in transit, many of whom are still here for this next ride, for community needs, economic development, and vibrant cities, we wouldn't be here today. Our transit system in Phoenix sees more than 47 million boardings annually. And think about the economic development opportunities. Over $7 billion of projects either on the ground or planned because of the investment that this community has made in transit. Our light rail system has far exceeded ridership projection, years ahead of schedule. And that success comes from people who value and benefit from public transit. As we look ahead to the future of our city, transportation, we need to hear from you, the people of this city, the people of this valley, the people of this state. We want to hear from citizens regarding the future of our city streets. Where do we need to focus our attention? The city has seen declining revenues from the state's Highway User Revenue Fund and other transportation sources, and it's important for city planners to identify and establish priorities as transportation funding begins to pick up a little bit again. This Citizen Committee will do exactly that. So we're looking for people to get involved, whether in public meetings through our Citizens Committee or as part of talktransportation.org, which is going to be done in a very interactive way. Even if you don't attend one of the meetings, but you've got an opinion about how we can best improve transit, go to talktransportation.org and have your opinion and thoughts heard. Community ideas and needs will shape our planning for the next several months. Great cities need great transportation, and an evolving Phoenix needs to adapt with the times. So we've, as a city and as a council, we've been champions for complete streets, light rail, options for people with disabilities, and I'm proud that the City Council has worked now to establish this Citizens Committee on the future of transportation needs. These next several months will truly reshape the way our city grows and changes for the better. And of course, as I said, this process will depend on many people to move our city forward. And I'm so proud that we have a great team of people who have volunteered their leadership and commitment to make this plan a reality. First and foremost, I am so blessed to have a great team on the City Council that believes in transportation as a key element for the future of our city. We're going to hear from, just a few moments, the chair of our Transportation Subcommittee on the City Council, Thelda Williams. Thank you for being here, Thelda Williams. And I've also got great transportation advocates and Councilman Daniel Valenzuela and Councilwoman Kate Gallego. Thank you for being here and your passionate support. We've got great city staff representing the Transportation Department, Streets Department, Equal Opportunity Department is represented here today. Inside City Hall, you've got a professional city staff that understands that we need improved transportation in the future if we're going to achieve our goals as a city. And I want to thank so many of the advocates that are here today, people that believe in this city, believe in the future of this city, and understand the critically important role that transportation plays. I just want to say thank you now for being here. Thank you for the heavy lifting that you're about to do to make sure we get our plan right, and then thereafter making the case to the people of the city of Phoenix of how critically important improved transportation will be to our future. And speaking of transportation champions, Phoenix is lucky to have a true transportation leader to help guide our process. She was a leader at the highest levels of transportation, as high as you can get, being the Secretary of Transportation in Washington, D.C., serving under President George W. Bush. From the private sector to ADOT to the federal government as a true Arizonan, Mary Peters, who's going to chair this committee, understands the diverse needs of transportation in this city and in this entire country. Mary has generously agreed to take the helm, and we couldn't be happier. I want to thank Mary. She's going to say a few words in just a moment. I want to thank Mary for sharing your leadership and your expertise to take Phoenix forward. Let's give her a big round of applause in advance. Thank you, Mary Peters. I'd be remiss if I also didn't say thank you to a few of my great former colleagues, former city council members, some call them recovering city council members, who have come back to redo their tour of duty to help make sure we get this plan right. Councilman Claude Maddox is here. Thank you, Claude. Councilman Tom Simplot is here as well. Thank you for your service and leadership. One of our co-chairs, committee chairs on this committee is going to be former Councilwoman Maria Beyer, who couldn't be here today. Let's give her a round of applause. And has there been a bigger booster of transportation at the city, regional, or state level than one of our other committee co-chairs, Marty Schultz? Thank you, Marty, for stepping up to the plate once again for the city of Phoenix. Yes, we have put together our transportation dream team. Marty, what do you think? The dream team. You like that? I also have Kerwin Brown, who's the head of the Black Chamber of Commerce, representing all the chambers of commerce because he understands how important light rail is to the future of our economy, small business, retail, residential, high-density development, what we want to really become as a city. In the end, however, are the people that we need the most to help shape this plan. Each and every one of you, the people of the city of Phoenix. This plan will not be successful if we don't hear from the people of the city in a big, big way. So I'm asking you as mayor, participate in this planning process. Go to talktransportation.org and make sure your thoughts, your ideas, your hopes for the future of the city are heard. This is really the people's plan, and together we'll be making decisions about how to best invest in our city's future through an improved and expanded and well-maintained transportation system. Great roads, great transportation, and the infrastructure, they represent the future of our city. You can tell I could not be more excited about beginning this process. I could not be more excited about the team of people who have come together to ensure that we have the very best plan in place, and you'll be hearing from them today. Thank you to the members of the committee. Thank you to the public. Again, talktransportation.org. Phil.
You know, today, as Mayor just said, you know, this morning's kind of kicking off the establishment of the Citizens Transportation Committee, and I think just even the fact that I'm here is a testament to the mayor's commitment to getting our citizens involved and participating, because that is so important in this process, and I appreciate that you've asked me to do that. Next, Councilwoman Thelda Williams is going to talk a little bit about the value of transit and the transformation of our city over the many years of making these investments. So, Councilwoman Williams, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. It's amazing. When I first moved here, which was a long time ago, I moved out to 35th approximately Dunlap, and I remember my husband was working at the brand new Park Central store, and they said, "You moved way out there." And Metro Center was a broccoli field at that time. Over the years, I've served on the transportation committees. I was on Transit 2000. I was on Valtrans, for goodness sakes. That's how long I've been around. And I believe in having a transit system that serves all areas of the city. I am so proud of you for volunteering to be on this committee. It's a lot of work to do this. You meet a lot of challenges. But you are directing the future of this city. It's not just about transportation. It's about economic development. It's about getting our kids to school, to work, reducing the number of vehicles that are on the streets because our streets are starting to fall apart. This plan, I hope, encompasses everything. It's light rail, it's bus improvements, because there's areas of the city that are so underserved that we need it, and also improving our streets. We have to recognize the fact that our streets are getting older. We now have a lot more bicycles on them. We have a complete streets plan that we can't implement unless we have new revenue. And so this committee has a lot of challenges before them to figure out how we're going to do that and what it's going to cost us and convince the people of this city, which I don't think it's going to be really hard to do, to participate, vote, and support it, because I think everyone recognizes it. I want to thank my colleagues who have been so supportive of this, and I especially want to thank Mary Peters and Marty Schultz for co-chairing this, as well as our former council people, because they have the expertise, they've lived through this before, and they know our needs, and they also know how to get out and make a committee work. So I challenge you to do this. I want you to make sure that all the citizens are heard, but I hope that you can do this in a fairly short time, in a holistic manner, and we can get this passed so we can get it implemented, because everybody knows I want the light rail to go to Metro Center. So, thank you very much.
Next, making some remarks this morning is Councilman Valenzuela, who is passionate about transit in the West Valley and also as a first responder understands the value of transit. Councilman Valenzuela.
I too would like to get light rail over to Metro Center. Give Thelda a round of applause for constantly beating that drum, right? The Northwest Light Rail extension in District 5 is going very well off of 19th Avenue from Montebello to Dunlap. We are about, 45 days ahead of schedule, right, Albert? I see Albert kind of shaking his head like, okay, 43 days ahead of schedule. And that's a $300 million capital project that the people of that community deserve. And it's a big number. It's a lot of money. $300 million for 3.2-mile stretch. And that's part of the education to this campaign. The first 20 miles of light rail in this valley, the price tag for that is $2.4 billion. But the return has already been more than $7 billion. When you think of the economic development and the vitality that has come around light rail on that 20-mile stretch. So it definitely is about economic development. It definitely is about viability for this city, sustainability for this city. But I have to tell you, it's also about catching a ball game. But even more importantly, it's about catching life's appointments. It's about doctor's appointments, getting your kids to school, getting to work. There are some communities in our city, some neighborhoods in our city where if you polled, if you knocked on doors, as I have, as some of my colleagues have in their respective council districts, you will learn that in many neighborhoods, less than half the people in those neighborhoods own a vehicle. And that may be okay for a city back east. They may be okay for a place like Washington, D.C., where everything is so condensed. It's not okay for a city that's spread over more than 500 miles. So, I'm sorry, it is okay, but the infrastructure and the needs and just living with those needs and doing nothing about it is not okay, and that's what I mean to say. I know that I'm not alone when I see all the people around this park space. It's quite an honor to be here with my colleagues, to have a chance to meet Mary Peters. I had the honor and the privilege to represent the City of Phoenix just last week, with the Department of Transportation as we advocated for what is called the Tiger Grant, and hopefully we'll get some good news in the next 45 days or so. We could score the first Tiger Grant in our city's history to go along with these efforts. So those efforts will continue. I'm looking in the audience. I see people like Marty Schultz. I see people that I've had this conversation before with, Claude Maddox. And I think it goes back to a conversation I had with Tom Simplot when Tom and I first sat down, and I was talking about my candidacy for City Council, and I had the honor to work with Tom on that, and Tom was explaining governing as he's seen it. I don't know if you remember this, Tom, but one of the things that you said is, when you think of governing in the most humble way, you think of shaping and molding a community, having the responsibility, not the opportunity, but the responsibility to shape and mold this community. And I think what you were talking about was transportation, among other things. So, again, I'm looking forward to working with every one of you. I, along with everyone else, will promise to pull my weight, and together we will create a more multimodal city, a community that all of our residents deserve. Thank you, and God bless.
Next, making some remarks is Councilwoman Gallego.
Thank you all for being here today. Thank you to our mayor for his leadership on this election. It's great to have the transit mayor leading Phoenix. Many of you were at the State of the City, and it was wonderful to see how much transit was part of the emphasis of his vision for the city, because we really do need a connected city, and now is the time. We've just finished a long series of community meetings with our general plan, My Plan Phoenix, and the number one thing people told us was they want a connected city. There is not a part of this city where we did not hear we want more transit, particularly light rail, and it is wonderful that you all have come together to help us implement that vision. The citizens want it, and now we have to put together the details to make this a reality. It will really help us with economic development. It's been wonderful to see all of the development along the light rail system, and we want to see more of that, those great jobs with benefits that are so vital to the growth of our community. We also want to see more connectivity within the city for those people who don't have access to cars. I learned this the hard way. I had a seizure in December and lost my driver's license for several months, and thank goodness for our bus and rail system. I was still able to get around the city. My doctor and my hospital were both on the light rail system, but not everyone in our community has that right now, and we need to take light rail to the areas Councilwoman Williams keeps championing. Thank you both for never letting us forget the importance of extending the light rail system. But also to South Phoenix, which I represent, and to the many other areas where we have individuals who choose not to drive or who cannot drive. It will help us be a strong city that serves everyone. We also need to make sure we have a multimodal system. As the founder of the Citizens Bike Committee at the City of Phoenix, I have my bicycle pin here today to celebrate the work we did this year in passing a complete streets policy, which we did just before the council recess. So we've said, as the City of Phoenix, we want to commit to being a city that designs its streets and its transportation system for everyone, for people in wheelchairs, for people who walk, for people who bicycle. And it will be up to you as the committee to help us implement that policy, the great vision that leaders like Diane Brown and others who are here today, Shannon Scutari, have helped us. And we will be taking that to the next level with this. I hope this is a committee that will help serve our entire city. It's certainly been wonderful for me to see the things we've done in my district, District 8. We just opened up a great park and ride at 24th and Baseline, and rapid bus service is coming. So there's a lot great happening, but without Transit 2000 and without that revenue source, we will lose momentum. So this is a vital mission for our entire city. We thank you so much for stepping up and look forward. Good luck.
Our next speaker, as the mayor mentioned, was the former U.S. Secretary of Transportation, but also was a former hometown transit expert and the director of our Arizona Department of Transportation. So with that, I'll introduce Mary Peters. Mary?
First of all, it is so good to be back in Phoenix and back in Arizona, out of Washington, D.C. The humidity is a little like that here, so I'm going to take the privilege of taking this jacket off right now and give the rest of you an opportunity to do so as well. Thank you. You know, I was born not far from here at St. Joe's Hospital, Old St. Joe's, where those of us of that era know about it. Our family home was not too far from here, 18th Drive in Van Buren. I went to Capital School. So as a young life, I grew up in this area. Later, we moved out to what was then the edge of civilization, up in the area of 43rd Avenue and Dunlap. Mayor and I just discovered that we went to the same high school, Go Colts, Cortez Colts, way up in the North Valley. I was a couple decades before him, but that's okay too. Great cities have great transit systems, and this city is absolutely no exception. And those of you who remember when we first started down this route, people said that it would never work here. It's been proven wrong. It's been absolutely proven wrong. And now our challenge, as the council members said, is to get this system moved out to other areas, to serve other areas of this great city and give other people an opportunity to have transit. And Councilwoman Gallegos, as you said, not just for those who can't drive, but those who choose not to drive. My stepmother bought a condo on North Central Avenue as soon as she knew that the transit system was coming through, because she knew there would come a time in her life when she wouldn't want to drive anymore, and she moved there. My brother was disabled, and before the system came in, he fought those battles of having to get where he needed to be and depending on a system that just wasn't as good as it is today and as good as it can be. So the charge of this committee that I'm so privileged to lead is to develop a plan for the future of Phoenix transportation from ideas that come from you, from the residents of this city. And as everyone has said, we want and need to hear from you. We need to know your ideas, because transportation should be a function that serves the citizens and gives them what they need, not something that planners decide about in dark rooms. It has to be an iterative process, and we very, very much need your involvement. Dedicated volunteers spending their time to make Phoenix an even greater place to live and work, where access and energy really build our neighborhoods, investment, progress, growth, all for a better Phoenix at the end of the day. It's not going to be easy, but I promise you it will be fun. We're not going to have a committee that slaves or argues. We're going to have fun. We're going to work together. We're going to come back with a plan that we together can share and be proud of. The goal is to have that plan meet the needs of most of the people at the end of this process and a way to sustain transportation growth. So I very much look forward to get started. Let's go out and bring a plan back that will make this city even greater than it is today. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the president and CEO of the Black Chamber of Commerce. Here with us to make a few remarks is Kerwin Brown. Kerwin?
You know, this is the second time that I've been asked to get involved with transit. I was on the community committee for the first section of the light rail, representing my church as a stakeholder, and here I am again. It is an honor to be appointed by the mayor and the city council to be involved with this great endeavor. As the president of the Greater Phoenix Black Chamber of Commerce, I can contest to the impact that transportation plays into the environment for businesses. You know, more than ever, entrepreneurs and corporations are making real estate decisions based on the proximity to their offices, that their offices have to public transit. Employees and customers want to use the bus and rail to reach their destinations. The light rail line is attractive for startups who need to be in areas with high pedestrian traffic. Phoenix has already benefited from the first leg of the light rail. We'll continue to see more positive growth as construction continues to more areas of the city. Viable street corridors are critical. Well-maintained roads with proper traffic considerations can make or break a business that needs continuous access to its customers. By supporting transportation projects, we're creating a climate where business can thrive. That leads to more jobs for communities and a higher quality of life for everyone. I commend the public transit and street transportation departments for being proactive and inclusive in their efforts to reach the community. I'm looking forward to working with my fellow committee members and the city staff over the next few months as we collaborate on a plan for the future. Thank you.
Well, this is really just the start of the process and the conversation, and as the mayor said earlier, it's really essential that all of us get involved in talking transportation, you know, with our families and our friends and our coworkers, and we want to, the goal to sign yourself or someone up today at transportation.org. And before we conclude, I want to ask the mayor if he would make mention of a little exhibit we got over here.
All right, we do have a little bit of show and tell. Thanks, Phil. We have a light rail to my right, your left, which is wrapped with the talktransportation.org website. So we want to really encourage it. And we have, of course, a bus right behind us, one of our great city buses that is also wrapped with talktransportation.org. So go check them out. We're going to try to get the message across in all ways possible. If you believe in what we're doing, make sure you get that message out. Send it to your email, your Facebook, your Twitter followers, whoever it is. Get this community talking about transportation. Make sure that this committee that we're forming here today, led by Mary Peters, is as successful as possible, and let's move this city forward.
What makes a community? Its people, buildings, neighborhoods, businesses? In fact, it's all these elements and more. Phoenix rose out of the desert to become the 6th largest metropolis in the country. The question now isn't how our city becomes a community, it's how do we connect it, keep it active, help it thrive. That's where you come in. Phoenix is developing a community transportation plan for the future, and we need your help. Join us and talk transportation. We need you to share your ideas. How do you travel to work and school? What can we do to make your journey easier, faster, more enjoyable? What is your vision of Phoenix transportation? Your input can lead to redesigned roads, new public transit options, bike lanes, and green infrastructure, even expanded light rail. Your feedback will pave the way for years to come. Phoenix can be a model transportation city. We just need to start the conversation with you. Join us and talk transportation. Get started now at talktransportation.org. Share your story and help us chart a path into the future.